to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. In studio with me is my super producer, Nyron Sanders. It's Friday, y'all. I feel like it's been a very long week. I don't know how y'all are feeling, but that's how I'm feeling. And yesterday I wasn't feeling my best either. I just wasn't feeling good. And today is a little bit better. But it is Friday. We are here, and there's a lot of things happening all across the city. I just as I did yesterday, I wanted to start today with giving our condolences to the victims, family of the victims, flight crew, um, first responders, and everybody that is currently impacted by the sad news of an American Airlines plane crashing with a Black Hawk helicopter. I do know as of yesterday the number of recovered bodies has gone up, but I'm not certain that they've recovered everyone, since they're projecting that there will not be any survivors of the 67 folk who were directly impacted. And so it's just a sad thing. It's a recovery mission at this time. They're saying that the plane's black boxes were recovered after the mid-air collision, and everybody knows the black box is what's going to give all of the statistical data and information about the flight. But I'm still pretty much confused as to how something like this can happen. I was listening to national media, and there was a former Black Hawk pilot, female, and she was saying that it's more likely than not, I should say, that neither pilot saw each other. Based on the information that has been put out and her experience, she's saying that neither pilot saw the other pilot. And I mean, I'm an educator, so I have to kind of like step back and listen to the experts in this. But just me looking at it and then hearing the franticness from the air traffic controller when they were trying to like direct them or alert them, I just don't know if that explanation holds weight for me, because I'm like, even if I can't see them, that's why you have the tower, people talking, telling you what the trajectories of other planes are, to, when to ascend, when to descend. I just don't know how this happened. And then when I saw, as I was talking to the congressman yesterday about the other attempts or near misses that the Black Hawk had with other aircraft, it makes a layperson wonder what is really happening here. But what I will be hypercritical about is the response from the White House and this new administration. They've blamed everything from DEI to former President Barack Obama. But nobody's talking about like these massive cuts to the air traffic control and that entire federal entity. All of the cuts. Now the media is saying that they weren't staffed as they should have been on this day, and that's not something that people who fly, um, that's no comfort for those people, because it's like we buy plane tickets, we get on planes, and we trust that the staff is well trained, that everything is supposed to be going as it should, because you're a consumer, so you're not thinking about all of the intricacies behind the scene. But nobody gets on planes thinking that the air traffic controllers and the folks who make certain you get from point A to point B are understaffed or not staffed that's normal. Nobody's thinking that. And it's a scary thought to have. But I just wanted to start off by saying that, because as a city who has just come out of a terrorist attack, 14 people deceased, you know, we're still trying to heal ourselves from that. And then this tragedy happens, and you're just sitting here and you're wondering, if this country needs some sort of exorcism. We need to find our way back to humanity, because I also saw a graphic where they put the New Orleans mayor next to the Bourbon Street attack. They put the California mayor next to the wildfires, and then they put the DC mayor next to um, this unfortunate jet helicopter plane crash. And I'm not certain what they were attempting to infer, but all I saw was three black women, three tragedies, and I'm not certain what that person was trying to get at. But our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to all of those impacted by the DC tragedy with the helicopter and the jet. So shifting to more at home news. This is some state news. The article says Trump orders patriotic education and school vouchers. It says Louisiana is already on it, and it has a picture of the current president of the United States sitting very snugly next to the governor of the state of Louisiana. There's another guy there, but he is of no consequence to me because I live in Louisiana. So I'm telling you about the impact on us. And it says, as President Donald Trump laid out his vision for American education this week, the picture he painted looked a lot like Louisiana, and I wonder why. Because, folks were trying to talk about and inform you about Project 2025. And more often than not, when the conversation in our city, our state, came to the point of Project 2025, it was always that we're already living in Project 2025 in terms of what we see in education in this city and in this state. And that's not by accident. That's because you have a compliant and a complicit governor. You have a compliant and a complicit superintendent of schools for the state of Louisiana. And so that's not by accident that this is the agenda. The article goes on to say his agenda was embedded in a series of executive orders issued this week, including ones he signed Wednesday to end radical indoctrination in schools and expand educational freedom. For nearly every item on Trump's to-do list, Louisiana could point to state laws or policy changes it's already enacted. So in our state, our governor, our superintendent of schools, they were ahead of the inauguration. I believe they did it on purpose. I think our governor and our state wants to endear itself to the White House in a way that says, "Look at me. I'm a nice little Indian. Whatever you want, Chief, you can have it." Right. Let us be the blueprint. No matter how no matter how much compassion it lacks, no matter how much common sense it does not have, no matter how many children it may hurt, look at us. We're locking children up younger, we're dumbing down their education. Look at us. So pro Project 2025 over here. Our state is a whole cheerleader for this white nationalist, white supremacist agenda that is happening all across this country. There is no way that this should be acceptable. The article says restrict lessons about gender and racism, check. And accommodations for transgender students, check. Promote patriotic education, check. Help parents pay for private school, check. And we're not going to gloss over help parents pay for private school, because we do know that's the bullseye right there. They're going to give you that nice little shiny voucher, and they're going to tell you that this is to help you pay for private school. But what they won't say is, in order to fund the private school, I have to defund the public school, because for every dollar I give you in a voucher, that's one less dollar in the public school system. But the folk who got the shiny little vouchers, they don't care about that, because their children will get to have this private school education, But we're not even going to talk about the quality of it. You don't even know if it's even on par with what you're taking them out of. Because there's a lot about the private school that's not mandated where the public school is. But if they have their way, then all of these mandates in public school will wash away. So all we have is this idea that private is better. You know, pay for it. The academics is much higher, right? Even though the teaching staff are less credentialed. They won't say those things. We have to start to ask ourselves, where is the line? Like, what line do those people on the other side of humanity and justice, what line do they have to cross for us to say, all right, I had enough? Because it wasn't when they slid that bill in there to lock your children up as young as 14. It doesn't seem to be planting a MAGA flag on the governor's mansion. It wasn't putting Thin Blue Lives Matter at the Capitol during inauguration. It wasn't the insurrection and then pardon the insurrectionists while black men are locked up for far less. It's not those things. It's not children being torn away from their parents in illegal ICE raids. It's not that, because you figure they're going after the migrants and the immigrants. You're not a migrant or an immigrant, so you don't care. That's what you're thinking. But you better look big picture, because if they could go for them, they can come for you. If they could rewrite the Constitution in one amendment, or they could rewrite it for another amendment. Because this administration is doing things and saying, Congress be damned, right? We don't need your help. I'm going to do what I want. We have to ask ourselves, where is the line? What line do they have to cross for us to say, all right, I had enough? I had enough. It wasn't when the governor was trying to keep children from eating food over the summer. You know, a few people pushed back on that, and he was like, wait, hold up. But I don't think it was really the pushback. I think it was the data. I bet you somebody slid him a paper and say, listen, if you go forward with this is the demographic of people you're actually going to impact. So then he looked at that piece of data and he said, that wasn't my aim. So I'm going to pull it back, because he surely wasn't going to pull it back if he thought what he thought was correct, but it's not. I can't wait for them to see the real impact of DEI, because you think it's about black folk, quality black folk from quality spaces. That's what you think. But when somebody slides you that data point and you say, oh, that wasn't a demographic of people I was trying to touch, you're gonna roll that back. So listen, I have to go to break over here, but when we come back, we're going to discuss this even further, because the article is not done. And if you're just joining us, the conversation is about how this state is already knee deep in Project 2025. And we're 11, 12 days into the new administration. So we were ahead of inauguration. So it didn't really matter that the White House was going to enact it. We were already enacted it first, so we could be the blueprint. So we could be the poster child for what money and power can do to a defenseless community of people. But let's talk about it on the other side of the break. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is Monica Pierre along with Sally Ann Roberts Daybone, co-host of Your Power is On.
Your Power is On gospel music show is coming on at a new time. Tune in Sunday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for music that feeds the spirit. Get your Sunday on.
Right here on WBOK 1230 AM and WBOK1230.com, the station you listen to
all day long.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
Do you know what United Way can do for you and your community? Find out by listening to United Way and You every Thursday at noon on WBOK 1230. United Way continues to fight for the most vulnerable members of the community. Find out how this Thursday and every Thursday at noon.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. If you're just joining us, we're in conversation about all of the things, local and national news. But right now we're talking about this voucher program that is being instituted right here in the state of Louisiana in alignment with what the national conversation is around public school education. And we have a caller on line one. Good morning, James. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Morning. The voucher program that they think is gonna hurt one disenfranchised community is actually gonna fall back on the whole of us. I'm talking about countrywide. My thinking on this is just like the gun laws that the governor enacted. The other station just a few minutes ago, I switched over to us, and they're talking about a hole in the system where the troopers and the National Guard can search bags and packages and coolers. But if they open any bag, package, or cooler and it has a gun in it, they have to, by law, allow the pedestrian to walk into the French Quarter. So you criminalize the package or the method of carrying it by saying it can only be a certain size, but the gun can go free. So I say all that to say this: they have excellently put the cart out the barn before the horse, and I'm enjoying watching these dummies figure out how to push all that back in and switch it all around again.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much, James. We appreciate you. Good morning, Pop Jones. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Dr. Wise. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So much going on that I could take the whole program talking about it. But I just wanted to let you know I'm a Christian. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I've decided I pray every day during the day, but I'm gonna have a special prayer vigil for Dr. Wise.
For me?
You heard me?
For me?
That God will build a fence around you and protect you every day, every 24 hours a day.
I
Now,
appreciate
you want to
it.
know why?
Why is that?
Because I could just see the Lord is showing me when I listen to you in the revelation. I thought Gerard was revealing the evilness that's facing not only our people, but I never heard you say just. I know you speak preferably of our people, black people, but you speak about children. Period. If you hate children, then you tripping without luggage. Because I don't understand that. If you got children, what's the difference between your children and my children? Is it the color? Well, what is it? Why you want to hurt my children?
Right.
So I'm trying to understand that. You got, they're human. They bleed. They have this disease, just like my children, my grandchildren. So why would you be so against my children and against me because of my color? And you're going to get mad when I tell the truth about you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate.
I'm trying to understand that.
Yeah. So am I, Pop Jones. So am I. But I appreciate you here. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you very
so
much for taking my call, Dr. Wise.
Have a blessed one. Listen, I appreciate again, and I'm going to continue to say every WBOK listener and caller, because it's always a robust conversation when the callers join in. And if you want to be a part of that conversation, the number here is 504-582-9422. But jumping back into the article, if you're just logging in, we're talking about the article that says Trump orders patriotic education and school vouchers. Patriotic. Y'all have to pay attention to the words, because what makes you a patriot? How do you define patriot? Because if you can remember, a lot of those insurrectionists, that's what they were calling themselves, patriots. And I don't know a country where a patriot will try to overthrow the governments and be allowed to talk about patriotism. Treasonous behavior is considered patriotic. Pay attention to the wordplay that they're using here. The article says Louisiana is hardly the only Republican-controlled state in recent years to charge headlong into education culture wars, demanding that public schools reject liberal ideas about race and gender, and insisting that parents are entitled to tax dollars to send their children to private schools that reflect their values. Their values are your values. Because I could line up a number of black families whose values don't align with this rhetoric that you're spewing about patriotism. It says their parents are entitled to tax dollars to send their children to private schools that reflect their values. That sounds like segregation to me. Because if our value systems aren't the same, that means your child's going to go over here and my child's going to go over there. That's what it sounds like to me. But who am I? Just a person who can critically think about the nice words that people like to string together in conversation and make you believe that they're for you. I'm going to say it again. Parents are entitled to tax dollars to send their children to private schools that reflect their values. Well, why aren't our parents entitled to our tax dollars to send our children to public schools that reflect our values? Why is that not an option for the voucher program? If it's about value system and it's about choice, then why is it that I don't have the choice? Why am I, as a parent, not entitled to my tax dollars to send my child to the public school that reflects my values? Because this is not about all of the children. This is not about educating all of the children, because those parents are entitled to those tax dollars to send their children to their private school of their value system. That's what the article says. But Louisiana's leaders view Trump's orders as a tacit endorsement of their education efforts and evidence that the state is a vanguard of a conservative movement to reshape the country's schools. They're saying it in the article like they're literally telling you that they're going to demolish the structure that is public education to reshape the country into this vanguard of conservatism. That's what the article says. They're not even hiding anymore. No need to cloak ourselves in Halloween costumes. No need to cut the holes out of the pillowcases. There's no need for it, because you can be a white nationalist and have on your gator top and your pants, your nice polo pants, with your nice Ralph Lauren belt, and you could just walk around very openly at Jazz Fest. Now y'all at our second line, in our culture, in our city, in our value system. That's where y'all at. Pillaging the culture so you can repackage it and sell it. They don't have to play dress up no more. They showing up in the workplace. They in HR. They in the benefits department. They in the insurance department, denying people claims every day while they making $1 billion bonuses for cutting back on your health care. So what line has to be enough? What line we going to draw? Where we going to say, okay, I had enough. Because not only are they telling you what they going to do, they showing you what they going to do. I call them big gangsters. Because that's what the gangsters used to do, remember? If they wanted your territory, they wouldn't come in to have no peace treaty with you. They were just going to spin the block, knock out all the competition, and tell you this block belong to me now. That's what's happening here. Big old gangsters. With a lot of inherited money that they didn't have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps to get. But they teaching that to your children. Why they had them Velcro slip-on shoes that their granddaddy made sure they could afford, because his name is on a bench at the very campus where they want rollback DEI, but our children are good enough to put the helmet and the jersey on and run out there and get all kind of CTEs while they're entertaining them, but they don't respect their humanity. But you know what? That line is not enough. That ain't enough. Oh, because we hoping and praying LSU give our children a scholarship. They ain't giving them nothing. They earning it. Because without them, there would be no multi-million dollar football program. But they don't care enough about you to put teachers that look like your value system in a classroom. As soon as we open our mouths, we getting fired. Oh, but the law say, let the law lady go back to work. How we got to sue to take our rightful places in these classrooms because she criticized the governor. They fired her and she sued them. And the judge say, LSU, put her back in the classroom. But that's all the stuff we have to go through. Good morning, Papa Baptiste. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Good morning, Doc. I appreciate you. You took so many words out of my mouth. Go ahead, girl. Listen. These people better find Nat Turner, because we need 1 million Nat Turners now, because this is why they're headed. They're going to push you as far as they can go, just like a bully would. Just keep pushing you until you decide, okay, like you said, Doc, when is enough? Now I got enough. So they're actually going to try and pull that trigger to see how far they can stomp on you before you try. And they're showing off their machine guns and they car. If you watch this stuff, they out in the country, they got the off-road vehicles attached with a 50 caliber all to it, and all these, and all these Proud Boys and the 1% and all this stuff. And all these brothers are running around, and they didn't prime the brothers, the black people, to go after each other. And we're going to put this, just like the flambeau carries the march in the parade. They'll throw a stick in the room. Everybody got to fight in that one room and close the door. And whoever would come out would get a chance to carry fire down the street that might blind them or whatever, dancing with fire so you can entertain us. The jigaboo, come dance down, fight each other, try and cut each other's throats, whatever, so y'all can be flambeau carriers. The white man has been the racist white man, not because all white people are not racist. The racist white man has been setting up and priming this through music, through athletics, through every avenue. They don't mind. This is a race war, so they don't mind collateral damage. Like you said, some white people are going to hurt. They don't. The people that's in power, the money people, they don't care, Doc.
Yeah.
They don't care about collateral damage. And the ignorant whites that, long as they don't like black people and people of color, I'll vote for you, even if you're going to take my mama's rights, my daughter's rights. You can take all the rights, just long as you don't like them N-words, or them Muslims, them the Hispanics. I'm down with you. I want everything to look like we come from Teal, Mississippi, America's Georgia, Atmore, Alabama. Look, we want everybody to look like that. So this is what we're dealing with. So all of the real men, all these old so-called rappers and gangsters and talking about their king of their block in their neighborhood, and better not step out of their neighborhood or their block with any of that gangster crap.
Yeah.
Like Harry Lee used to say, y'all don't belong in the neighborhood, we're going to run y'all out of it. Yeah, go back in your neighborhood and be king this and king that, but you better not step out your neighborhood with that crap.
Yeah.
You ain't no real man. You 2/3 of them. How you gonna call yourself? But you can do that over your people. And you poor black police, y'all better not put your hand on a white girl or do anything or handle her or whatever. Y'all better not touch her the wrong way. I've seen back coming out through the 6th. I've seen a white police come up to a black police and slap him in the face in Jefferson Parish. You better not handle that white boy like that N-word boy. Of course, if that would have been me, he would have been shot on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So everybody better just start looking out for each other, figuring out how we're going to look out for our children, our grandchildren, the elderly, because they're coming to cut all our throats. And they're watching us cut our throats for each other. Like you say, they don't have to put on no hood. They don't have to they walk around with a shirt on saying, I'm a racist. They can do that. I've seen it.
Right.
They believe in another, I'm going to leave you with this. They believe in another God, the God that tells them that they're superior. And he made a mistake when he said that we are all equal, that the black people are supposed to come here, cut our yards, clean our toilets, train our houses, and dance and put football stuff out so they can run. We're going to give y'all our trailer trash white girls. Y'all can have them.
Yeah.
So y'all can walk around and proud. I got a white girl. So I'm going to play football. I'm going to run hard for you. And when I get 35, I won't be able to walk. Half of my brain is knocked out. But I got a little money. I can't even spend it now.
Right.
Because the brutality that has been thrust upon me to show out for you. And the musicians, we're going to have them dancing and jigabooing, and all of them are taught to play for tips, with buckets in front of them. Nobody for the Philharmonic, nobody for writing screenplays, none of them for that. Come dance and shigaboo and stick this trumpet to your mouth and say, oh, yeah. That's
Right.
what you better do. So
Thank you,
it's
Papa
a rough
Betsy.
deal. Be blessed.
Appreciate you. Larry, I don't want you to go nowhere, but we're going to have to take a break, and I don't want you to run into the break. So if you do not mind, hold on for me. I think the conversation we're having is one that has to be had. And if you want to join that conversation, the number is 504-582-9422. We're talking about all of these national agendas that are happening. But here in Louisiana, we were ahead of the curve, unfortunately, in terms of Project 2025. The document might say 25, but we've been living here for some time now. So let's understand that and let's have real conversation. Hold on for me, Larry. On the other side of the break, we'll have that and a whole lot more. This is WBOK 1230 AM. I'm Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Stay with us.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? It seems impossible to find them. Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month, a service of the community scientist and Rise St. James. This month, we're focusing on cadmium, a highly toxic metal commonly found in batteries, pigments, and industrial waste. Exposure can severely impact your lungs, kidneys, and bones. Visit risestjames.org to learn more about how cadmium affects you and what steps you can take to safeguard your family. Together, we can fight for a safer, healthier future. Rise St. James, standing strong for health, justice, and a toxic-free environment.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Hey, Pontchartrain Park. Thanks for listening to WBOK.
Good morning, Wake Up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. My super producer, the one and only Naira Sanders, is the person that makes me sound like I know what I'm doing. And he's also in the building. But we are back, and we're going to go straight to the phone line because Larry's been holding on. Good morning, Larry. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Hi, Dr. Wise.
How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. You know, I never patronize anybody, especially not you. So I listen at you talk, and I usually have a lot to say, but I'm getting, I'm a living history. And some of the things that you talk about and say, you know what I do? I put on a pile of coffee and drink coffee and just listen at you talk. Because I ain't got to say no more. That's hard for me to do, Dr. Wise.
Well, thank you, Larry.
I've always been outspoken, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some of the best speakers in the 60s speak. In fact, I've seen some in person because most of my adult life was spent in L.A., California, from 18 to almost 30. So I got to see some of these people in person. Stokely Carmichael, Angela Davis, Fred Hampton, Huey Newton. I mean, I heard these people speak. Now, this is during the so-called Black Revolution. And some of the same things they talked about, you talked about. I say, now what is little Fisher Project girl? Get this from. Because, when you was a little girl and a Fisher going to the schools there, we was adults, man, talking this stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess, I believe in God. I believe in the universe, all that good stuff. So I say, she had to be anointed. It has to be spiritual. Because the things you say just spill out your mouth. You don't sit and think about them.
No.
What you say is so valid, doctor. And I say, man, I'm glad I don't have to say no more.
Well, Larry, I know you realize we've come a long way, you and I, right? You remember?
At first, bump heads. But then when you start to talk, I thought, just think it probably was a generational gap. Maybe I disrespected you a little because you were so young.
Yeah.
But that might have been it. My bad.
But it takes a big person to say that, though. That's the kind of people I like to have conversations with.
Well, I'm honest. Because I've never seen it all earlier, heard it all, but I've seen a lot and heard a lot. And some of the things you say, ain't much to be said. What could you say, Dr. Wise, when you spilling the truth? It's the rappers that say she's spitting. Spitting some truth. And that's worked a lot. But I'm not going to say this, I'm a little frightened for you.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying, darling?
Yes.
I'm a little frightened for you because these people out there we don't know how they act, what they do. They do some things that we can only think about. Because I'm going to say this on the air.
Yeah.
Most of us have souls.
Right.
They act like they don't. So, but you got to do what you got to do because you've been appointed that. You've been anointed that. I can't tell you nothing. You're going to say what you want to say and do what you want to say. And you know what? I'm going to put on a pile of coffee and sit back and drink me some coffee because this is somebody that I have the highly respect for, and you won, baby.
Thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate you. Thank you for calling in this morning.
Thank you, darling.
Listen, y'all, if you've been listening long enough, because I've only been here a short amount of time, but if you've been listening long enough, that's one of my greatest accomplishments right there, because he was not a fan of Dr. Wyatt. And somehow here we are, right? So thank you, Larry. I appreciate you over here. If you are just joining us, the conversation has been about this patriotic value system that they're now trying to institute nationwide in terms of education. And we have to be very, very in tune with what the language means, right? Because patriotism to them were the insurrectionists that tried to overthrow our government because they did not agree with the outcome of an election. And if that is patriotism, I think our train has derailed. Like, it's so far off the tracks, right? But this system here in New Orleans and in the state of Louisiana, they're trying to convince folk that they can take their tax dollars in voucher form and take it away from the public school sector to go to a private school that matches their value system. That is now what they're doing here. And the quote in the article from our current governor says, Louisiana continues to lead the nation in these common sense reforms. Now, last time I checked, the folk was trying to rewrite the Constitution. I guess they're also rewriting Webster's dictionary, because common sense has no place in this conversation, not by definition that I know of, not by definition of what you know of, because there's nothing common sense about any of these so-called reforms that are supposed to help or aid in the educational outcomes of our children. There's nothing common sense about this. Where's the sense in stripping an already vulnerable entity that is public education by giving voucher money to folk to bring our public dollars to a private entity? They're private for a reason. You know what private means? Philanthropy, donations, tuition. You set that structure up because you wanted to have a haves and have-not system. So you wanted your child to go somewhere where they didn't have to go to school with the quote-unquote riffraff. So you created this system. So then if it's philanthropy and tuition and all of these donations, then why do you need the dollars from an already vulnerable institution to further the institution that you created for your children? Why? Why? And what's the end goal? Do we want to do what the system did in saying, oh, we only want charter schools? So now you're going to say we only want private schools? Because if you dismantle public education, that is what you're saying. If you can't afford it, if you can't run fast, catch a ball real good, dribble a ball, hit a ball, if you can't do those things, then you have no place here. Is that what you're saying? Because, see, I recently saw a study. And, since we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion being associated with putting unqualified people in qualified spaces, I recently saw a study that came out of Harvard, that place that they like to put the word prestige on. But I'm here to tell you, the people make the place prestigious. So wherever you bring your prestigious black brilliance, that makes the place prestigious. But we've let Harvard tell us that they're the standard for prestige. But guess what Harvard said? They said that over 70% of folk who don't look like us got in because of legacy, because of donors, because of all of these things that have nothing to do with merit. And if those things were not in place, then only 13% of them would be able to get in Harvard. But we the ones diversifying, equifying. I think I might have just made that up. And then and putting the inclusivity in places because we don't belong there. That's what we doing? Huh? I also saw a graphic that said DEI is for Donnie, Erica, and Ivanka, Eric and Ivanka, DEI, right? But they say it's us, because we're putting our unqualified selves in qualified spaces. But Harvard said if they didn't have legacy admission, if they didn't have, you got a lot of money, won't you put an endowment in place and your child could come here, admissions, that half of y'all, majority of y'all, most of y'all won't even be accepted. But you around here talk about I'm a Harvard man. No, you a legacy man. That's who you are. Because your great-great-granddaddy had enough money, so now his name is on a science building at Harvard, and now you just have a free ticket to get up in there. Y'all remember Operation Varsity Blues, where those wealthy, well-to-do, elite folk were buying their children's way into school? Y'all remember that? I do. I remember. But we let them sit here and tell us that we're getting in qualified places with our unqualified selves, when the Xavier University of Louisiana puts out more black doctors than anywhere. And it's the centennial year here, 100 years, right? Why nobody has attached prestige to Xavier University of Louisiana? Because the people make the place prestigious. Your prestige makes the building prestigious. You don't have to go to Harvard to be a doctor. You could come right here to Xavier University of Louisiana. Because it's a whole lot of black excellence and prestige going on right here in the city of New Orleans, in this brick and mortar institution. But we let these people tell us that their places are better for us because they said so. What line is going to be enough? What line gonna be enough? They locking your children up younger. They dumbing them down more and more. Minimum wage ain't go up, but the prices of everything is going up. What line is gonna be enough? They just changed the whole tax structure here in the state. That wasn't enough. What's gonna be enough? They coming for your children, the education, the culture, the city. Who is out there to stand in defense of us in an elected or appointed or a position of power? Who's out there? Where are you? Because we ain't looking for Superman. We just looking for the folk who have our best interests at heart, who are going to protect us at all costs, like people are protecting that system at all costs. Who are those people? Identify them. Elections have consequences. Elections are coming up. People want to serve. Who are the people? Identify them. So listen, we have to go to break. But on the other side of the break, we're going to jump into conversation with Jim Henderson, president of NAMTAC, and Oscar Rainey. They're going to be talking about the LGS Mardi Gras Festival, y'all, happening Saturday, February 1st, 10 to 6, free admission. Stay with us on the other side of the break. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. President Trump criticized former Presidents Obama and Biden for lowering air travel safety standards, claiming DEI policies reduced air traffic controller standards. He promised to restore faith in air travel by hiring based on intellect and brain power. Confirmation hearings for President Trump's key government picks concluded for the day. Kash Patel faced senators for the FBI leadership role. Tulsi Gabbard was questioned for Director of National Intelligence, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. continued his bid for Secretary of Health and Human Services. Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker is accused of inappropriate sexual behavior by 6 massage therapists. Tucker's attorneys deny the allegations, calling them impossible to prove. And music stars like Stevie Wonder performed at the Fire Aid benefit concert for LA wildfire relief last night. No word yet on how much money was raised. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a special shout out to our partner, the All-State Sugar Bowl. During the holiday break, over 30 teachers had the opportunity to ride in the New Year's Eve parade, and boy, did they have a blast. In addition, we had over 60 teachers attend the All-State Sugar Bowl game. Out of the 60, 11 teachers received a $1,000 gift card to purchase needed supplies to enhance the learning experiences for their students. Thank you, All-State Sugar Bowl, for your commitment to NOLA's teachers.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Super producer Nyra Sanders is behind the glass, holding us all together. And if I sound like I'm excited, that's because I am, because we have LJS in the building. Y'all know LJS. You know the place that came first that y'all like to act like it's not New Orleans? Yeah, put some respect on our name. We are New Orleans, baby, and we were first, so get in line. Understand me? We have the one and only Jim Henderson, president of Non-Talk. You know New Orleans' most talked of crew, and Mr. Oscar Rainey, offspring of the one and only big Mr. Rainey that everybody know and love. Welcome to the Good Morning Show, fellas.
Well, thank you for having us.
How y'all doing?
Doing fine.
He said he's doing fine. How you doing?
We're doing excellent.
We doing excellent. So let's talk about LJ's Mardi Gras Festival happening Saturday, tomorrow. February 1st, 10 to 6, free admission, but no outside food or drink because the people want to sell you what they want you to drink and they want to sell you what they want you to eat. How you think they're going to make money? Don't bring your own food and drink. Keep it at home. It's happening at Federal City in Algiers on Jeremiah and Shirley Drive. It's a community parade happening too, starting at 9 a.m.
Parade starts at 9 a.m. at L.B. Landry and Lamarck Street.
So who's all participating in the parade? I already know the University of Edna Karr will be in the building.
Actually, we will have...
They better be.
Karr had a conflict in their schedule.
We need them to unconflict it.
That's something that we're working out. But this year we will have
L.B.
all
Landry?
of the school, L.B. Landry High School. We will have the Edna Karr Band. That's going to be the Mohawk Hunters. We will also have a couple Mardi Gras crews. Of course, the New Orleans most talked of crew will be in the parade just as well.
Big Non-Talk.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And Femme Fatale, the Shay Shay group, will be participating in the parade. So all together, we're going to have a collaboration of the culture groups, the music groups, the school bands, and we're just bringing Algiers together under one accord.
Absolutely. So can you talk more in depth, Mr. Henderson, about what this event means to Algiers?
Oh, it means so much to Algiers, not just food, beverage, and fun. Mm-hmm. It brings us together to support the children in the schools. We right now we're supporting the music and the arts programs in the schools. When you read there earlier about no outside food and beverage, okay, the money we make from that goes right back into art programs, goes right back into the music programs at the schools. So it really combines fun with some other more higher purpose.
See, I want to stay right there because a lot of the times we don't talk enough about those sorts of outcomes that the social aid and pleasure clubs are putting out there. if you don't tell us that you're doing these things, people think y'all are just out there having a good time, but we partying with the purpose. So you're telling
It
us
is a party, definitely with a
you're
purpose.
telling us that a portion of the funding goes right back into these arts and music programs.
Yes, without a doubt.
That's something that we have to keep saying, right? And I think most people believe arts, they're vital to educating the whole child.
Art and music is
music,
vital.
absolutely.
Now, there
And
was a time that music programs were dominant
Yeah.
in the schools.
Mhm.
And, of course, the kids did better. New Orleans culture is based on the veracity of that music program.
Mhm.
And so we learned over the years, as we got in funding crunches, and we wanted to eliminate certain things in the budgets.
Couldn't eliminate that.
Okay.
Yes.
So we found that
absolutely,
if we did that, we'd kill it all. So we're trying to grow back to that now as a city. But the Algiers Mardi Gras Fest is in the front of the line.
Absolutely. And is there a way, if people wanted to donate to that cause, is there a way for them to do that?
Yes, there's several ways, but the first way they could participate with that is we have a young man who was his own advocate for art, and he convinced the people at Landry to have an arts program. And as it turns out, we had 50 people competing in the poster contest,
Oh, wow.
and he won.
That's big talent right
So
there. Mhm.
how can you contribute? We have items for sale tomorrow, his posters.
Okay.
And we had some posters still left from prior years that students in Algiers from NOMA and from Edna Carr did in years past.
So, Mr. Rainey, what makes this Mardi Gras celebration in Algiers unique compared to other events in the city?
As you know, we're starting this year will be the 5th anniversary, and what's so unique is we're doing the best at the fest. And as Mr. Hinder elated to, making sure we're placing the emphasis on the children and the community. So there's a competition amongst those kids in the community to whereas the winning school will receive a free pizza party sponsored by Pizza Hut. And then there will be a lottery that we will utilize to the teachers, and that teacher will receive a gift card to pour back into the students.
Oh, we like gift cards now. Just this, we like gift cards. So, how does the Algiers Mardi Gras Fest help to promote the local culture and businesses in the community?
But one of the things this year, we will have over 15 vendors, food vendors, beverage vendors, and this will be an economic engine for those businesses that's in the Algiers community. Will have the opportunity to sell their delicious New Orleans cuisines, and as they're selling the New Orleans cuisines, they get to highlight. We've seen to whereas the opportunity to gain food trucks and freestanding buildings have come to those people to be able to promote their businesses and advance their businesses.
Absolutely. And talking about New Orleans' most talked about crew, how does the parade route starting at Lamarck Street and LB Landry represent the LGS community, and why was this particular route chosen?
Well, it gets us to the festival quicker. We're really opening the festival, and that's where it starts over at LB Landry. The route is perfect for bringing the crowd right there to the festival. And so as we build and get closer to the festival tomorrow morning, you're going to see a bigger crowd. Okay. You're going to see a bigger crowd. And then those same people are going to be just filling right on into the festival.
And is there entertainment happening? Because I've been before, so I know that there's like a stage and folks are, doing their little thing. Are we still having that?
Absolutely. This year's lineup, we'll start the festival with the Marine Jazz Band. They've been with us the last 5 years. We also have Monkey Hill Band, Big Frank, Lil Frank, who's been performing at the Namtok Ball.
I saw them at the ball for the first time.
So they're going to be a returning factor.
Mhm.
The Jakarta Band will be there. We're also doing something for the kids this year, so we'll have BJ Sokol perform.
Okay, that's a big one for the kids.
So that's going to be big for the kids, but more importantly, the headliners will be Amanda Shaw as well as the Brassaholics closing the festival out. So I think we have a lineup for everybody that enjoys music, rather it's jazz, rather it's hip hop, rather it's bounce. Music lovers come on out and enjoy the sounds of a diversified piece of music that we're going to present to the community.
Oh, absolutely. And Mr. Henderson, you kind of touched on this already, but can you elaborate on the mission of the Algiers Mardi Gras Fest and how it aligns with the goals of the community?
Well, we are focused on preserving and developing an appreciation for art and music, first of all. Second, we recognize that in order for that to materialize, we start at the ground level, and the ground level in our case, would be in the schools. And so we didn't want to be
after my
just
heart. You know, when they talk about the schools, that's where my heart beat at.
Yeah. But that's where all of our hearts beats should be, because we can't get anywhere without it. So we want it to be more than just a party. You know, with some good food and some good beverages and some good music and dancing and cutting up. We wanted to make it something meaningful that have a lasting effect. And so the opportunity these young people get is going to be with them for a great time.
Absolutely. And if you're just joining us and you want to join the conversation, the number here is 504-582-9422. We are talking about the El-Jazz Mardi Gras Fest. If you know anything about me, you know El-Jazz is where I'm born, El-Jazz is where I'm bred. So put some respect on our name. It is happening tomorrow, Saturday, February 1st, 2025, from 10 to 6, and it is free. Free, right?
Free.
As OT would say, free is better than cheap. That's what he says. So come out and support. So when we're talking about that mission and that vision, Mr. Rainey, the event emphasizes education on food, music, and arts. Could you share more about how the festival incorporates these elements into the celebration?
But yeah, I mean, and what's so unique, we have over hundreds of festivals throughout the state of Louisiana, but for us to execute and implement a poster competition amongst those students in the community, we're pouring into the community with the youth by educating and promoting the arts and crafts among those kids. And as Mr. Henderson just mentioned, for a young man to go to the CEO of El-Jazz Charter School and mention that he needed to have some arts in the school system, and then for that CEO to take heed and listen to what he was trying to promote, that went a long way.
Yeah.
But then to take it to the point to whereas he submitted the artwork amongst 50 other kids, and his poster was the winning art selected. And then we're going to gift him a grant based upon his performance. But if he wouldn't have went to that person to expand his art for the promotability of artwork, now he has an opportunity to proceed on with the future as well as his education and his experience in the arts.
Well, listen, I think it's a dynamic opportunity because, as we all know, we have the young black queen, Queen Taj. You know, she did the logo for the Super Bowl, for Super Bowl 59. So there are doors being opened for our children in arts and music all across this nation. And I believe New Orleans sets the tone for that. But Mr. Henderson, there's a question in the chat for you. Somebody wants to know, is this the Mr. Henderson from Mara Henderson family on the West Bank?
I'm from the West Bank, deep in the West Bank, but I'm from one of three Henderson groups.
Okay.
There's three different groups in El-Jazz.
Okay.
Murray Henderson group, there was James Henderson, and then there was, of course, my daddy, James Henderson. So there were three different groups of us.
So there you have it. It's three of them, and he's part of that third tribe is what he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm head of that tribe now.
So, Mr. Rainey, the folk also, they want to see your handsome face, so they asking you to turn around because the cameras are over there and your back is to them. So they like, tell Mr. Rainey to turn around. There he go. He's turned around, y'all. So I also want to ask, how does the festival promote tourism while enhancing the local community, especially for El-Jazz? Because a lot of the times El-Jazz is left out of the conversation of New Orleans.
Well, what we've done, we've been able and been fortunate based upon grants and sponsorships to promote the festival through marketing, through the NOLA.com, through the state lieutenant governor's office, also through the Gambits, through Where You At magazine, throughout the community, of course, to be able to advertise the festival. So with that, with all of the social media platforms, we're expanding our platform across the world. So hopefully those people that are coming in early for Super Bowl will have the opportunity to come out and experience New Orleans Mardi Gras style in El-Jazz.
And let me tell you something. And this is a fun fact. I do not go to parades, and I do not go to second lines. Fun fact, nobody knows that about me. Everybody think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm an introvert. I'm inside all the time, right? And so, it's just it's a lot. But I believe that Namtok is one of the best, if not the best, family-oriented parade that you will ever go to in terms of Mardi Gras season. You can't walk a block without somebody offering you something to eat or something to drink, right? You could go to somebody's house and use a clean restroom. Like, it's everywhere you look. That's one of the days I feel like whatever the issues are, people lay their swords down and everybody just come out and have a good time. It's always a wonderful time. Now, I'm in the house. I'm in Algiers, but I'm in the house. People bringing me the food in the house.
Hit that bell for me.
That's where I'm at. I'm going to take my nice little picture with my beads around my neck, but I didn't catch the bead myself.
There you go.
Somebody went got it and put it, but I because it's just not a lot of folk think I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. But that is one of the best parades. It's always well put together. It's always well attended. Folks are always, it's like a family reunion. You get to see folks from high school that you haven't seen in 10, 15 years who might have went off. Everybody has families now. It's wonderful. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from Algiers. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in front of y'all, because if I say that I meant it, I'm going to stand on it. Right. I believe that Namtok is one of the best parades put on during Mardi Gras season. And so when we invite our tourists to our city, they need to realize that there's some special stuff going on the other side of that bridge. Yeah. Jump on the ferry and come on over.
Come on over,
right?
Yes, indeed.
So talking about future plans, Mr. Henderson, what future plans or goals do you have for the festival as it continues to grow?
We just want to continue to build. We don't want to expand too far from our initial mission, but we do want to build and grow it.
Okay.
And so our vision is that we're going to get better with how we support the schools, the effect, the reach that we have in the music and arts appreciation program.
I think you're trying to carve out like a real soft spot for you in my heart.
Well,
you done said the word school. Well, how many times now? I should have rung the bell every time he said it.
Well,
because that's important.
But it was important for me.
It's important,
so
yes.
And that's the objective also.
I love it. I love it.
See,
I love it.
I'm talking from a background of McDonald 32 had an outstanding parade when I was a kid. And of course, that's almost 70 years ago. But still, we had an outstanding parade.
The fact that you can remember it means it was impactful.
I got to ride on the float. I threw all my stuff
early
in the first block.
Because you ain't know no better.
But we left the school on Diana Street. And by the time I got to Newton Street, I didn't have any more throws.
Mm-hmm.
I was out.
Exciting.
I was the Duke.
It was a first
and I was
time.
excited,
Yeah.
yes. And so, but we had a great time. And then for years, I matriculated in the band. All that took me to Southern University to play in the band, and got a college degree and moved on in life that I would not have had I not been connected to something in school other than math and English.
Yeah. I think it's so important. And so in terms of future plans and growth, how do you see the festival impacting the tourism scene in Algiers and the broader New Orleans area in the coming years?
Well, I think that, as Mr. Henderson spoke about, it's more or less us expanding our footprint, telling our story, and in telling the story with the support of our sponsors, who this wouldn't be possible, with the support of the grants that we received, to ensuring that, hey, we increase the level of entertainment other than just local level entertainment, taking it to a regional level, and then hopefully taking it to a national level to the point to whereas we can expand this festival, expand it with additional advertising so that we can be considered as one of the largest festivals, most effective, impactful festivals in the city as we make impressions on these youth lives within the community. Because if we're making impressions on youth lives in the community, we're building the future. And we're building the future with brick and mortar, not just by saying once you get old. We're building the base, we're building the platform so that they know what it takes to move forward in life.
Somebody want to talk to y'all. We have a caller on line one. Good morning, Miss Denise. Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
Happy risings. Happy risings.
Good morning.
Hi. How y'all doing?
We're good, Miss Denise. How you doing?
I'm me. I'm listening to you guys talk, and I have family. I can say everybody in the world is my family. And we would say, no, well, that's not possible, but in a sense it is. I'm listening to the gentleman speak. I just started doing second lines. I all my life, Revolution, 9 Times, Domain, that's my family. So everywhere I go to the second line, it's a pleasure for me. I love the band, I love the music, but I know my family's going to be there too. Namtok. I want to ask the gentleman, well, I know he said Namtok. He has to know Mr. Leonard Hillard. He was king, I think, about maybe 3-4 years ago. but that's the West Bank. That's off the West Bank, but that's my family too, on the West Bank. So we all come together at some point. And when we come together, it's a good feeling. My point is, I love the second line. I love the family. I don't like a lot of things that I see happening with our second lines, and not just the second lines. You mentioned the festivals coming up. They come on the news and announce how much money has been made from all the festivals and everything that's going on. I would say in my community, I'm pretty much there. There's about 4 homes on my block. That's it. I'm right there where y'all call Cancer Alley. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I am. It's dark. The grass is high. The lights are flickering, and there's the patch up the streets, and there's holes. And where's this money going that I'm not seeing it? Houses are falling and leaning and dropping, and other houses and buildings are coming up tall and building high. Where's that money coming from when these festivals are done? The second line, social aid, all those clubs participate in these things, and they're not getting that back. They're not getting it back.
Well, we surely want to make certain that we bring that to light with our council member, and I believe that is Freddie King, the councilman for that area. And I understand your concerns, but I believe that question is probably more suited for our council member, and I'll be certain, if you would like me to pass your concerns on to him, if you'd like me to do that, Ms. Denise.
Dr. Wyatt, I would love it. I am trying to pass on information. I'm trying to say things, and if I can get that done,
I'll give you my word. I will make certain that Nari and I get together and pass your information on to the councilman, and he's pretty good about responding to constituents. So I'll make sure that he gets your information.
Okay,
thank you so much. Have a blessed one. Listen, we talking about the Algiers Mardi Gras Fest, y'all, that is happening tomorrow, February 1st, from 10 to 6, free admission, no outside food or drinks, because when you purchase the food or drinks, they're putting that money right back into the schools to help with the culture, arts, music, and art specifically. So if you are free tomorrow, 10 to 6, bring the babies outside, Federal City in Algiers, General Maya and Shirley Drive. Did I catch everything, fellas?
I think you caught it all.
Is there anything you want? Did I do a great job? You think because I'm from Algiers?
Yeah.
They have to put some respect on Algiers. So let's ask a fun question, Mr. Rainey. What's your favorite part about Mardi Gras?
My favorite part about Mardi Gras is getting up before the sun comes up. As you know, I am the chairman of the board of the Zulu Association Pleasure Club.
Ooh, talk heavy.
So
what's your role again?
I am the chairman of the board of the Zulu Association Pleasure Club.
Uh-huh.
And to be able to have the opportunity to visit those crews in the morning while they're having breakfast being made up, that motivates me for what's to come at 8 o'clock on Jackson and Claiborne once that parade turned the corner, to see everybody that looks like me standing asking for us to throw them something during Mardi Gras with a fun-filled activity celebrating Mardi Gras here in New Orleans.
Shout out to the big chief. You know, like Troy is from the Fisher with me. I love Mr. Casby. He's, I think, one of the pillars. And, you know, his son and I went to a car together as well.
He'll be in a parade tomorrow.
He'll be in a parade tomorrow. So it's all of it's real family in Algiers, and I think that's one of the things that makes me so proud to come from Algiers, because everybody know you. If they don't know your name personally, they're gonna say, "You Sandra daughter, huh?" And I'm gonna say, "Yes, ma'am, I am." Well, Mr. Henderson, for you, what's your favorite parts of Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. Talk about
Mardi Gras, just Mardi Gras in and of itself. For me, I started out as an Indian, masking with the Mardi Gras Indians. When I didn't even have a uniform, I had to put something together so I could be with them, and over time, I got to be the second flag. So I was with Mohawk Hunters for a number of years, but it's just in you. I mean, just for me.
It's not on you, it's in you. That's
it's just in you.
Listen, I take New Orleans everywhere I go. And I never thought I sound like I'm from New Orleans. But any place I go, as soon as I start talking, they're like, "You from New Orleans?"
Yes.
And I am.
Yes.
And the same way you light up when you talk about Mardi Gras. Like, I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if the people can see how
They should be able to see
he's
it.
lighting up when he's recalling his time as a Mexican Indian. And when you made it to what, the flag? You said
Second flag.
Second flag. He lit up. And and what's your role with NAMTAC since our chairman of the board? That's what you say?
Chairman of the board, we come together though in Algiers. It's all one big happy family.
Big chairman of the board. So what's your role, Mr.
I'm
Henderson?
President of the crew of NAMTAC.
So
Actually, President of Jug Social Club.
We got the heavy hitters. WBOK done brought the people outside. Huh? They ain't sitting the man next to the man. They sent the man. Listen, I'm excited that y'all are here. But before you go, can you share a memorable moment from a previous Mardi Gras Fest in Algiers that really stands out to you? And that'll be a question for both of you. So maybe you can think about your answer while we talk to the chairman over here. Memorable moment.
Well, I think the memorable moment for me was the inception of the festival when we put on the initial festival in Algiers in 2019. It was a flag raising for my dad at the courthouse in Algiers, and the encouragement of the elected officials, the city leaders, to commend the job that was done, to say that this was something that was definitely needed in the community, to be able to take this torch and 5 years later have a festival with an organization that's a 501c3, and to do it with a purpose to give back to the youth, not just the party, is something that is definitely to be proud of, but being proud to realize that it's 5 years. It didn't seem as though that it's been that long. It seems like yesterday. So we're just compassionate about doing what we're doing, just as well as NAMTAC being a family-friendly event in the community.
And what about you, Mr. Henderson? One of your most memorable moments from a previous Mardi Gras Fest?
Unfortunately, it's the same when he started talking.
Well, he said y'all are one.
When he started talking, I said, well...
You saw I rung the bell for him.
Yes, but for me, I saw it with the flag raising. And I saw the potential of what it could be. But I also saw that it brought the spirit of Mardi Gras back to Algiers other than NAMTAC.
Right.
Because after NAMTAC, there was nothing related to Mardi Gras. So that what I saw from the steps of the courthouse and from the stage over there in front of the courthouse was the return of the Mardi Gras tradition to Algiers at a high level. The neighborhood was excited and lit up with that flag raising. It was more to them than it was to the people participating in the flag raising, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
Yes.
So I know you didn't just sit here and get all get all modest on me and not tell us that you were being honored in some way this year. You want to be modest?
Well, yeah.
Talk about
I'm just excited for the growth of the
we
festival.
We have a few minutes.
And
Let's talk about this honor.
Yes, it's a big honor.
Let's talk about it. How you gonna be modest? How you gonna come sit up in here and talk about all this other stuff and don't tell me you being honored?
I got to agree with you, Dr. White.
Yeah, like he trying to skate on by.
I didn't want to steal his thunder, yeah.
Grand Marshal, that's an outstanding honor, you know. It
So
really,
listen, is this breaking news? This is breaking news. The 2025 Grand Marshal of NAMTAC, the New Orleans most talked of crew, is the one and only Mr. Jim Henderson. This breaking news.
It's breaking news.
And he want to slide up in here.
He's Grand Marshal of the Algiers Mardi Gras Festival.
Oh, so you're the Grand Marshal of the Algiers Mardi Gras Festival,
Yes.
the whole festival.
The whole festival, I'll be there.
Well, we should have opened
in my
with that.
glory and glamour.
Leading the parade.
So you gonna have regalia on?
Yes.
You gonna have all of the things?
I'll be dressed, appropriate for leadership.
for Grand Marshal.
For leadership.
The Grand Marshal. So let's say that again. You are the Grand Marshal.
For the Algiers Mardi Gras Fest. I can't thank this board enough. I work with a board that's, we're all in one accord. It's just amazing how well the board works together and how things come together with different people doing different things.
Well, listen, I think that when the community honors you, those are the accolades that we should hold the closest, right? I've gotten a multitude of awards from all over the place, but when my community acknowledges me, those are the awards that you tell your children about and their grandchildren
this
about.
This exceeds my award for 5 years of perfect attendance.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's way up there.
And I'm not going to tell you, as smart as I was, I ain't never had perfect attendance, so I'm not even going to front like that.
Should have been 6.
I needed a sleeping day or two here or there.
It should have been 6. I missed a half a day.
You missed a half a day. But you see, when you go to schools where you know you're loved, I went to William J. Fisher Elementary School with Kara Eggerling. I talk about my elementary school principal all the time.
Miss Landry, 1962.
Because I know she needs to know her impact while she's still on this side of the heavens, right? I love her.
Yep.
And but for her and people like her, I wouldn't be where I am. So I love Miss Carol Egerling. She called me Lil Miss Lang, and it could have just melted me, right? Because that's the honor of the highest level, right?
Yes,
There's only one Carol Egerling, and if she could call me Little Baby Miss Lang, I take that. I'll receive that.
Nurturing, a heck of a leader.
Let me tell you something, Miss Lang. You know they have these PA systems in school now. Miss Lang had that bell. A handheld bell.
Yes.
And when she rang it, you better be where you need
to
be.
Huh? All right.
Yes, indeed. Listen, if you're just joining us, we are talking to Mr. Jim Henderson, who is the president of New Orleans' most talked of crew, and he's the grand marshal of the LJS Mardi Gras Festival, happening tomorrow, February 1st from 10 to 6, and it is free. I'm going. I got a funeral to speak at in the morning, but I'm coming.
We look forward to having you.
I'm coming. We're also in conversation with Oscar Rainey, the chairman of the board of the New Orleans most talked of crew. We have to go to...
Chairman of the board of Zulu Associated Pleasure Club.
Come on, talk heavy tongue. I'm talking about when LJ's in the building, baby, we bring our resumes with us, okay? Because we them people. But we have to go because we have to pay a couple bills. And then on the other side of the break, I'm going to talk to our president of the prestigious Xavier University of Louisiana. But if you're not doing anything tomorrow, get your kids, show up. LJ's Mardi Gras Fest, Saturday, February 1st, 10 to 6, free admission. Shout out to Mr. Henderson and Mr. Rainey. We love them here at WBOK. Stay with us after the break. WBOK, 12:30 a.m. with New Orleans is always talking about just like them Nam-Tok men.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets. We've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow WBOK 1230 now.
NOLA Public Schools' main round enrollment for kindergarten through 12th grade is now open. With 73 schools available through the NOLA Public Schools Common Application Process, or NCAP, finding the right school fit for your family is easier than ever. List up to 12 choices to maximize your chances and apply by January 24th. We're all in, and we hope you are too. Apply today at enrollnolaps.com. That's enrollnolaps.com.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show.
Good morning.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Super producer Nyra Sanders is also in the building with us. And if you're just joining us, we were in conversation with Mr. Jim Henderson, president of NAMTAC, and Oscar Rainey, chairman of the board. There's a wonderful event happening tomorrow, 10 to 6, over in Algiers. So if you're free, bring your children, bring your family, have a wonderful time celebrating Mardi Gras in those Algiers streets. But right now, when we talk about prestige, we have the president of the prestigious Xavier University of Louisiana, Dr. Ferret. How you doing? Welcome to the Good Morning Show.
I'm doing very well. It's good to be here with you again.
Listen, it's always good to talk to you. When we were off air, I was reminding you of when I first met you. When you were fresh and new to Xavier University.
When I was young.
When you were young. Before it all went great for us, right?
Exactly.
I saw you and I met you, and I'm glad that you're here. And thank you for your service to our beloved institution.
It's a good place to be.
Absolutely. And talking about 100 years, what does that mean for you to be at the helm of a Black university, prestigious Black university, celebrating 100 years of Black excellence?
I think that it's a matter of great joy. Joy of actually seeing the talent that comes to our doors and how it leaves and goes off into the world to do good work. That's that 100-year celebration is a reminder of why we're here and why and how we got here. And it's only the first step in preparing us for what we need to do for the next 100 years.
100 years. That's something to absolutely be celebrated. And so let's talk about the centennial celebration. Xavier University officially launched its centennial year of activities on January 17th. And Dr. Ferret, I want you to make sure I get my centennial shirt that they promised me, and I still don't have it. You might be the man to make that happen.
It will it will come to you.
No, I'm just
what
joking.
Size?
They sent us an email. I'm going to wear a medium.
Thank you.
They sent us an email and say, don't worry, we have a shirt for everybody. But y'all, if y'all can see, his right-hand man is in here writing down that note. See, that's what I like. Make stuff happen, Dr. Ferret. Can you tell us about what that launch event looked like and what attendees can expect from the year-long celebration?
Well, the launch event was a gathering of friends of Xavier. Our students, our alumni were here, but also members of the political establishment. Troy Carter, who's one of our illustrious alumni, and also our congressman, was there. There were representatives from Senator Cassidy's office as well, members of our friends at Oxnard, and many others as well. And you can see that picture that was published in several of the papers. It was our students were celebrating as well, but it was mainly we spoke about a reminder of why we matter and why it is important that we continue to educate talent that comes to us.
We absolutely matter. And how is Xavier planning to engage with the community and alumni during the centennial year?
Well, there'll be a number of events where we bring speakers and thought leaders at Xavier. There will be a gala. There will be a mass that we look forward to in October, celebrating our centennial. That will be at St. Louis Cathedral. There will be a number of talent of events in the arts, but also the thought leadership about what the country needs and how we actually engage in conversations about the future, because it's about building leadership, and the leadership is in our classes right now.
So before we deep dive into Xavier's impact on the city of New Orleans, let's talk about how's the New Orleans cuisine treating you?
Well, one thing that you do, because I was on faculty here many years ago.
Okay.
Coming back, one thing that you have to learn is to say no to food, because everyone wants to feed you, and it could be deadly. So you want to taste. But not.
So you mean to tell me you're not indulging in a full serving of beignets?
Not often.
And a full serving of crawfish?
I taste them all, but it's all in moderation.
It's all in moderation?
And not every day. Not every day.
Listen, because I think
especially the beignets.
Especially the beignets.
Not every
because
day.
They're addictive, right? But Xavier throws a really, really, really good crawfish bowl every year that if you have not gone, you have to at least go and just try all of the things.
And the crawfish ball, it's about community. It's about
yes,
people coming, rubbing shoulders,
it's wonderful.
And being together.
It's wonderful.
And being physically in each other's presence.
Yes, it's wonderful. So speaking of Xavier's impact, Xavier has a strong connection to New Orleans. How would you describe the role Xavier University plays in shaping the city's cultural, educational, and social landscape?
Well, the first thing is that Xavier educated a lot of students who became leaders and built New Orleans. One clear example is my predecessor, Norman Francis, but let's think of others. The current mayor, the many who actually many people who created companies, who created industries, who are teachers, who built the schools in New Orleans, they are Xavierites. The other piece is also what Xavier has done in educating the health care leaders in this community. The other things about Xavier is that Xavier was always countercultural. If you think about it, that Xavier Opera back in the 40s and 50s, Xavier Opera was a social event. It was one of those places, everyone wanted the tickets, right? But the sisters insisted this is where black folks and white folks sat next to each other, even though New Orleans did not allow that.
Yes.
So Xavier was saving New Orleans from itself.
Trailblazer.
We're saving New Orleans from itself.
Yes.
And so we continue to do that in building a greater New Orleans.
And nearly 35% of Xavier students come from the New Orleans area. How do you think the university's presence in the community influences both students and local populations?
Well, the first thing I think Xavier influences students before they come to Xavier. Our pre-collegiate programs, even the example of our students who go into schools as the chemistry club, other groups so that students can see young people only a few years older than they and say, I could be like her, I could be like him. So that example of seeing these brilliant young men and women going to the community makes a difference. But also what Xavier does also in our health disparities clinics through pharmacy, that we do a lot of work throughout the community, through community centers. We work with churches. We are also working in our communities. One of the things that stands out for me is when the VP of Student Affairs tells me he has a count of hours of student services where we have 30,000 plus hours of human hours of service from a class of maybe less than 3,000 students. That means the students are out giving of themselves because that is what Xavier has been. If you think about our mission statement where we say contribute to a more just, humane society, what it means is to be of service to somebody else.
Yes.
And that's what Xavier's been doing well before I began here for the last 100 years.
Xavier has a recipe that has worked and continues to work because it feels very family oriented at Xavier. As we were talking off air, I shared with you, I was at Xavier, it felt like an eternity, but for 10 straight years I was here getting certified in education, getting my master's, getting my doctorate. And there was never a time that I felt like I didn't have the partnership of my professors and my university. And that is one of the things when I go around talking about my experience at Xavier, that is at the forefront of the conversations because you feel like you have a team of people vested in your academic and overall success.
I could not have said it better. Yeah. It's really because our faculty see talent in every student.
Yes.
And their job is to make sure that talent comes out and flourishes.
Yes, I am very proud to be a Xavierite. Very, very proud. Can you share how Xavier's relationship with New Orleans has shaped the student experience and post-graduation paths, particularly for local students such as myself?
Well, I think many of our students actually are working in the community. Many of them have gone back to work in the community. But many of them, among even our students who are first-generation students, there's an infection that goes back into the family. When they see the first student who goes to Xavier, soon afterwards we see another cousin, a younger brother. So it changes. The benefit is not just to that individual student, but to entire families, to communities. So the communities of educated talent in this community that comes out of Xavier that rebuilds our communities is what Xavier's given, so that you have a resource of knowledge in many fields, politics, the arts, and ever. If you think about someone like John Scott, who's in fact, there's a museum downtown now collecting his work. But what John Scott's done is more than that, his own work. So numbers of other artists who are probably sometimes better known than John Scott, who were his students.
And I've seen Mr. Scott's work hung up in that museum, by the way.
But then you'll see Terrence Osborne.
Yes.
That's one of his students. So
yes.
His students are everywhere because teaching and actually making sure that my students are better than me and do more than I did is what Xavier does.
So over the past 50 years, Xavier's SOAR program has helped prepare local high school students for the rigors of college. Could you tell us more about how SOAR has impacted local youth in the broader New Orleans community?
Well, first of all, one thing that SOAR does is for young people is to show them the pathway to get to college and for them to discover their weaknesses. And also the fact that our SOAR students go to college. Many of them do not go to Xavier, but they go to other colleges. So when I speak of our Xavier's internal mission, we have our students who come here and we educate them at the highest level. We have our external mission before students even come to Xavier to get students to actually develop their skill and talents. Yes. And where they go doesn't matter. If they go to college, that's a success. And we've been doing that forever. So it's not just about Xavier, it's about our broader impact always.
Absolutely. Listen, if you're just tuning in, we are talking to the president of the prestigious Xavier University of Louisiana, Dr. Verrett. And if you want to join the conversation, the number here is 504-582-9422. We have to go to break, but on the other side of the break, we're going to continue to talk about those programs and initiatives and then looking ahead for the next 100 years. Stay with us. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Flu cases are at critical levels. I'm Dr. Takesha Charles Davis, President and CEO of New Orleans East Hospital. It is so important that our community gets its flu vaccine. Millions of people are hospitalized every year with flu complications, and thousands of those cases result in death. Flu Ready NOLA urges you to protect yourself and your loved ones by getting your flu shot today. Visit a healthcare provider, pharmacy, or hospital to get your shot and be Flu Ready NOLA.
Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank, there's freedom here.
Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Bryant Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
Back. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. Super producer Naira Sanders is also in attendance this morning, but we are in conversation with Dr. Verrett, president of Xavier University of Louisiana, talking about Xavier Centennial, the impact on New Orleans, new programs and activities. And when we went to break, we were talking about those programs and initiatives. But Xavier has recently introduced some exciting new programs, such as the co-ed varsity rowing program. What inspires Xavier to become the first HBCU in the nation to offer this, and what does it mean for the school and the community?
Well, it's about our students come as broad people with many interests. We have students who come here to become scholar athletes. And I mean scholar athletes because just yesterday we recognized our athletes with 3.0, with more than 3.0s. And it's a very huge group. When I say, could any school see that many athletes with who are dean's list athletes? We can see it. But we have students who came who actually love being on the water, who actually may have rowed before, but also the idea that, especially we are women, to build a team, the first team here, and because we have water, we should have had it. So that's to get our students to actually develop as whole people, both, as they say, mens sana and corpore sano. Great mind and great bodies.
Absolutely.
So they will be doing that. But also we've also brought back baseball and softball, and that was one of Hank Aaron's dreams, to see a team at Xavier, and he passed away just only a couple of weeks before our first game. So we brought back baseball and softball. We also have a soccer, men's and women's soccer, and it's amazing what they're doing here. And so, because our students are both athletes and scholars.
Absolutely. And the last time I checked, I don't know as of the last few days, but Xavier women's basketball team was undefeated.
Just lost one game.
Oh, see,
but only God is perfect.
Yeah, just
only God is perfect.
Look, that's right, Dr. Verrett, because I was like, a few days ago, I know I was watching them celebrate. They were having an undefeated season, but they're still doing wonderful things.
They won yesterday. They won yesterday,
you got to
but
take at least one on the chin so you know how to bounce back.
To make you humble.
To make you humble. Oh, the God is perfect. That's a great way to look at it. But let's talk about, but it's also dynamic to be the first HBCU in the nation to offer co-ed varsity rowing. But there's also a Master of Science in Genetic Counseling program that has just been accredited. What makes this program unique, and how do you see it contributing to healthcare education and diversity?
Well, to put my professor's hat back on, what you know is that basically medical care right now will become individualized based upon your own genome. Not saying that you belong to a racial category, that you're black, so we have a drug for black folks, because black is a very heterogeneous, very broad group, because people have different genes. So we look at your individual genes. Now, genetic counseling, which may predict certain diseases, also may say what therapies you should be using. Counselors will be very important to help people navigate this individualized medicine. But less than 2% of genetic counselors in this country are black or brown. So we're in building programs like ours, and also in partnering with Oxford, so that we'll have counselors here, is about the capacity to have that talent to serve the communities that we are here, and also to actually show what we can do, what should be done elsewhere as well.
And you also have a partnership going on with Ashland Health Systems. It says Xavier and Ashland Health System recently received full accreditation for their physician assistant program. How will this program benefit both students and the healthcare landscape in New Orleans and beyond?
Because physician assistants are needed. They're an important part of the healthcare system. We have very few. By introducing our program at Xavier, we increased the number of physician assistants graduating in Louisiana by about 60%, and a large number of those are students of color as well. So that's bringing representation and broadening representation within the clinics as well. That's an important piece.
Absolutely. And can you share any exciting details or updates regarding the Xavier Ochsner College of Medicine?
Well, Xavier, it's moving along.
Yes.
We have work to do for our accreditation, so we have a few more years through the LCME to get the accreditation to admit our first class. We're working towards provisional accreditation, which will allow us to announce a date when the first class comes in.
That is huge.
We have a very strong partner in Ochsner, and that partnership is based upon years of experience. The dean is working with study groups that include Xavier faculty and Ochsner clinicians as well to put the stealth study together. We've just received a gift yesterday of $1 million from a friend from Minnesota to support that program. And that will actually change the landscape of medicine here, both in the clinics and also in the research labs.
That is huge. I don't know if you were listening to the show earlier, but I absolutely was talking about where Xavier ranks in terms of putting out black doctors. It's huge. That's a huge thing. And so looking ahead to the next 100 years, as Xavier celebrates its centennial, what are some of the university's long-term goals for the next 100 years?
Well, one is that it is to be sustainable, so that we can actually we can be relevant and competent, do it well, but also in the fields that are needed for that time, and asking ourselves always, every day, what is needed today, not just what was needed yesterday. So we reevaluate what we need. The medical school is part of that question of what's needed today. You will see the medical school, but also you'll see research at Xavier increasing in many fields, not just in the health fields, but also in the technology and the policies on climate, how we respond to a new energy environment. So we want Xavier to be at the Xavier researchers and graduates to be at the table making those important decisions with everybody else in this country.
Xavier is an academic gem nestled in the heart of New Orleans, and folk need to know that. Like, this is a very unassuming place. Like, you could pass it and you don't know the prestige that's all around this campus, and even in the personnel, the staff. Like, I love recounting my experience at Xavier with people, because I hope that my experience encourages folk to give Xavier a look, because a lot of people know Xavier for their pharmacy program, but I know Xavier for its education program, its counseling program.
And the fact that we have
top notch.
The fact that we have 3 federal judges, while Xavier can be known in the law. Look in the arts.
Willie Sanders was my law teacher.
Look in
here
the
at
arts.
Xavier.
You'll see what Xavier's doing in the arts.
Yes.
In the sciences, we've been sending more African Americans. We've been one or two in the country sending African Americans to doctoral programs in the STEM, in physical and life sciences. So we are a broad liberal arts
powerhouse,
and so a very broad educational portfolio.
Yes. So what are your hopes for the future of Xavier University and its continued role in shaping education, community, and industry representation?
Yeah, one of the important things is that to make Xavier affordable for any young person.
That's the best part about Xavier.
Okay. We have more than half of our students are Pell eligible.
Yes.
So it's important that in our capital campaign, raising funds to be able to create need-based scholarships so that no young woman or man who wants to be at Xavier, has desire and ability, will be turned away. We're not there yet, but so we have monies to raise in our capital campaign. How much is the capital campaign? $125 million. And our goal is to get to $500 million.
Let's go.
And so we have work to do, and we need all friends to everyone to actually chip in, contribute to us, and invite other people whom we should be speaking to, who should consider Xavier, because the story of Xavier is a great story. There's some who don't know it yet.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Tell us how, if folk are listening in right now, how do I contribute to Xavier University to further the impacts that you guys are making in this city and across this country, really, with the talent you're putting out? How can we donate to Xavier University?
On the xula.edu site, there is an area for donate and also to reach our advancement team. That's one way of doing that. Also, to actually meet friends who should know about Xavier, who have capacity, who need to be introduced to Xavier, to reach out, to introduce them, to let us know who they are, that we should be reaching out to them.
So how is Xavier preparing to evolve with the changing educational landscape, and how will these changes enhance Xavier's impact on New Orleans and beyond?
I think what we are doing in making sure that students who arrive at Xavier discover their weaknesses, and then so that we can fill them early.
And so before we let you go, Mr. President, can you tell us, for anyone who has ever stepped foot on Xavier's campus, what does Xavier mean to the city of New Orleans?
What Xavier means to the city of New Orleans is that Xavier educates talent across the broad range of peoples who make up New Orleans, because New Orleans is truly the gumbo. It's a melting pot of many peoples. And Xavier is that all peoples in New Orleans should be part of building the city, and that really everyone is a neighbor. Everyone in New Orleans is a neighbor to you. And so we need to be concerned with the broad common good, and the common good includes every citizen of the state.
Absolutely. And with the last moments you have left, let's just say this was your opportunity to encourage someone to go online at xula.edu and sign up for any course, class, program. What would you say to influence folk that Xavier is the place for them to be?
Xavier is a school that meets you with very high expectations. But everyone who comes to learn has some things that they do not know that they are not strong at. The point is to discover that, and you have a faculty that has your back that will help you discover that and help you overcome that. So that when you leave here, you'll be the equal or the better of anyone you meet in grad school, in business school, in the workplace. That's always, and the reason I say that is because it's always been happening. The proof is my alumni.
That is how I want the president of my university to speak about the university. If you're just joining us, we were in conversation with Dr. Verrett, president of Xavier University of Louisiana, talking about Xavier's centennial, its impact on New Orleans, new programs and activities. And I, for one, am going to say thank you for spending part of your morning with us to talk to us about the prestigious XU. And as a proud Xavierite, I invite you to the campus. Come and see what New Orleans is talking about when it comes to Xavier University and what 100 years of Black excellence looks like, feels like, and sounds like. So thank you, Mr. President, for being here with us this morning. I also want to say thank you to Jim Henderson, president of New Orleans' most talked of crew, and Oscar Rainey, chairman of the board of NAMTAC and the Elgis Mardi Gras Fest. This has been a dynamic show. Until next time, I'm going to see y'all on Monday, but y'all stay tuned for The Front Porch with Graylin and Kimba. This is WBOK 1230 AM. I'm your host, Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. See y'all next week.
campus of Xavier University. WBOK 1230 AM. Go. And Equity Media Station.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know with BIN News. President Trump is threatening to send illegal immigrants to Guantanamo Bay. Congressman Chip Roy loves the idea. The Texas Republican says the plan is both creative and innovative. The FCC chair is investigating NPR and PBS for allegedly airing commercials. NPR's CEO insists their programming complies with regulations. This follows complaints from President Trump and